Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we're going to do lesson number two, for Algebra 1. This one is about finding the lowest common multiple and the greatest common factor. Let's get into it, shall we? So first of all, uh, LCM. LCM stands for lowest common multiple. That means what is the smallest number that the two numbers we have divide into? So in other words, that even though this is kind of a backwards thing, even though it's lowest, this is going to be the smallest. The numbers you have are going to be smaller. So like for example, the multiples of 27 are all bigger. It's just they're the same size as bigger. So here are the first three multiples of 27. So you're looking for multiples. That means the number you started with goes into those other numbers. Whereas greatest common factor, greatest common factor. Here's how those work, okay? Um, so let's say we're going to talk about number 27. Again, factors are the multiplicative parts, so the numbers that multiply together to make 27. So that could be 3 times 3 times 3. It could be 9 times 3. It could be 27 times 1. Those are all of the factors of 27. So I'm going to show you a quick and easy way, 100% reliable, to go ahead and get this knocked out. It's going to work just beautifully and wonderfully every single time. You're going to get 100. Last thing I'd like to remind you about, though, check this out, bruh. Watching videos is a passive thing. Learning is not passive, it's active. So you need to be taking notes. You need to pause the video. When you have a question, you need to pause the video, write down your question carefully. Then, when you've come up with an answer to your question, you need to go back, pause the video, go back to where you wrote the question, write your answer. All right, let's get to it, shall we? So look, let's do an example. Let's say we're going to find the LCM and the GCF of 27 and 12. All right, so your very first step, I'm not going to write out the step for you. You're taking notes. You can pause and write out the step. The very first step is actually, man, there's other ways to do this, but this one's going to work really well, especially if the numbers are big. If it's easy, you can just do it in your head. But like, I don't know what the smallest thing that both of these two numbers go into off of the top of my head. I don't know the multiples of 27 very well. You know what I mean? I could probably figure out the greatest common factor between the two. In fact, let's see here. I think it's going to be 3, because 3 goes into 12 and 3 goes into 27. 6 doesn't go into 27, it goes into 12. 12 doesn't go into 27. So anyway, I think it's 3, but here's what you're going to do. First step, your very first step is you're going to do the, I guess I'm lying, I said I wasn't going to write it out. You're going to do the prime factors, bruh. So the prime factors of 27 are 3, 3, and 3. The prime factors of 12 are 3 and 4, right? So 4 is 2 times 2 times 3. Those are the prime factors. Now if you look, when we're trying to find the greatest common factor, that means what's the biggest thing that divides evenly into both? You see, we both have a 3. So that's the GCF. The GCF is 3. Okay, now, to find the LCM, what we do is we take your GCF, right? You take your GCF and you multiply that by the leftovers. Let me show you what I mean by the leftovers. Over here, these are the leftovers right there. Those are your leftovers. And these are your leftovers. So we take our GCF, which is 3, take our leftovers, which are 9 and 4, and we multiply all of that together, and that gives us our lowest common multiple, which is the smallest number that both of these divide into evenly. So that would be 36, right? 36 times 3, 108. That is the smallest number that both of these divide into. Now, just to make sure, check this out. I could check my work real quick right here. I'm going to write out the multiples of 12. I'm going to write out the multiples of 27. I just want to make sure that 108 is the smallest thing they both go into. So 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, 84, 96. Ooh, plus another 12 is 108. Look at that. And then we've got 27, right? 54, 81, 81 plus 27 is 108. If you look, the smallest thing they both go into is 108, so it worked. I think this is way easier than this. I don't really care what method you use. This one's going to be a little more reliable if you have big, complicated numbers, especially when you start getting into some things with some variables and some unknowns. So anyway, hope that was helpful for you guys. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, you look good today. Man, oh, whew, I don't even know how I know from all the way over here, but I do. Anyway, hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later.